Welcome to Bunnyfish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as Bunnyfish on Ravelry, Instagram, and YouTube. Today is Tuesday, the 15th of November, 2016, and this is episode 202, Seeing Green. Grab some sticks and string and come sit with me. How was your week? Mine was pretty good. I recorded a little mini-sode, so if you didn't catch that, it's on the YouTube feed. It's also on Ravelry and the blog. Because I didn't have any obligations on Friday. No work. My kids were picked up by their grandma, and I had a really fun day, so I took you on my wanderings. We have some administrative business really fast. There is a coupon code running in my shop through the end of the month. It is Keep Warm, all one word, and that gives you 25% off all of my patterns. Thank you everybody so much who has used the coupon code so far. The whole reason, if you're new to the podcast, why I have that coupon code is because we had to replace our furnace at the beginning of the month or the end of last month, whatever. So yeah, use it. It's good on all the patterns in the shop. We also have a knit along going on right now. It is the Finisher Frog 2016. Which will be wrapping up at the end of this month, and we have a couple of prizes for that. You guys are amazing. So I didn't look at the finished objects thread for a little while, and then all of a sudden there were 4 pages, so almost 4 full pages. It could be 4 full pages now because I haven't looked since last night. You guys are awesome. Finishing up things, ripping out projects that you're not going to work on, and then starting and finishing new things. There's still plenty of time. There's, 2 weeks left of the month to finish or frog something. UFOs and whips are highly encouraged, but let me show you the prices. And if you have any questions about that, there's a chatter thread in the Ravelry group, and also there's all the rules are in the chatter thread and the finished objects thread, so you should be able to figure out there, and if not, ask questions in the chatter thread or send me a PM. And again, that's all on the Ravelry group, and you can get to the Ravelry group if you're on YouTube. You can click on the show notes link, and then from the show notes, right under on the blog post, it says find me on Ravelry, and it should take you to the group there. Anyway, so prizes for the knit along. I'm a little thrown off because this morning was hectic. I woke up because I heard a sound at about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't know what it was. And then I realized that my sister's light was on in her room, and I was like, was that you that just made the sound? And she was like, I'm up. I was like, oh, it must have been her. And then I laid back down, and I realized that I could see flashing lights through my window, and I was like, what's going on? So of course, because I'm nosy and need to know things all the time, I wouldn't say nosy so much as curious. Because I'm curious, I looked out the windows and I couldn't see what was going on. And so then I was a big jerk face and went in the boys' room and looked out their windows and woke them both up, which was super rude of me because only 2 of them were sleeping here last night. So the neighbors 2 doors down, the grandma passed away overnight, which is devastating for my sister because that's her second family. She and the daughter who used to live there and doesn't live there anymore, but whatever. They have been best friends for, I don't know, much longer than they haven't been. And so that family is her family. So her second grandma passed away, so that was a rough morning. And Kenny's here because he had a rough morning, so he didn't go to school today. So I'm feeling a little out of sorts, but whatever. Prizes, because that's where we were. Prizes. So Lion Brand sock ease. This is enough to make a pair of socks. I have used this particular colorway in socks and a sweater, multiple pairs of socks, I think. And I've used this yarn, this brand, and weight and everything to make several socks that have held up really well. So this is the sock ease in the Red Hots colorway. And there is a bag that was made by, let's see, where's the tag? Here it is. It's Mama C's Creations. So it's just this really cute state bag with little pieces of the history on it. It's super cute. So, and it's got a measuring tape drawstring. Can you see the numbers? Yeah. Oh, that one got turned inside out. Okay, so like that. So yes, measuring tape drawstring. So really cute prizes. I will be drawing on the first podcast of December. I don't know what date that's going to be. But you have plenty of time, like I said, to get projects in, to start something new if you wanted. Rules are on the threads. The other big announcement sort of deal for knit-alongs is that Allison is going to be hosting a Bunny Fish Crafts pattern along. My pattern shop is under Heather Laws, and Allison asked me if she could have a knit along in the month of December for my patterns, and I said, yeah, of course. So it's definitely running through the month of December, so finished between December 1st and December 31st, with the caveat that if there is a lot of participation and a lot of interest and people want the deadline extended to the end of January, that is something that can be discussed, and that's something that can happen. What else? Whips are okay. So if you bought a pattern of mine in this past month using the coupon code and you've already started it, that's fine. You can continue working on it and it will be acceptable as long as you finish it in December, I believe. Double check if you have any questions in the thread, which Allison has not yet opened, but she will be opening. It's her knit along her rules. So double check with her. And then there will be 3 prizes at the end. But yeah, that's pretty exciting. I am really looking forward to seeing my patterns knit up. I am not a super popular pattern designer. Like, I don't make it onto the first page, so most of my patterns don't have a ton of projects. So I'm actually really, really excited to see the finished objects thread and chatter. I don't know. I actually don't know how it's going to work. If there's going to be a chatter thread and a finished objects thread. It's all up to Allison Roseboom. I don't know. But I'm really looking forward to seeing that knit along go on, and I will cast on my own patterns so that I can take part in it too. I don't know what yet. And if you're test knitting for me, that will also count in that thread. Allison said that was a thing that could happen. So I don't know a lot about it, honestly, because I'm not hosting it. So I haven't hashed it all out, but I'm sure Allison will. And yeah, so that's going to be in December. How exciting is that? I'm super excited. I'm super excited to see my things knit up. Okay, so onto my own personal knitting. I finished Haley's socks, the ones that I had just done the toe and 2 rounds into the crazy variegated last week. Well, when I went on my Friday adventure, we were going to, we were at Mary Lee's, and then we were going to go get food and stuff, but we weren't planning on being gone all day. And then once we were already gone, we decided we were going to go to IKEA, so that took the rest of the day. So I didn't take my backpack with me because we weren't planning on being gone that long. I just took these socks and another pair of socks in my purse, and I was like, it'll be fine. I mean, we'll come back, and if we decide to go to IKEA, I can grab a couple other things for the drive. Because it's not super far away, but it's like an hour-ish away from where I'm at. Maybe a little longer than that. I think it's in Canton, Michigan, and I'm in Mount Clemens. So I don't know, it's kind of far. But all I took were these socks. So I did a significant, not a significant, I did a fair chunk of it. I think I was in the pink section for both of them by Friday. So I did a fair chunk of it at my eye appointment, and then we went to get an oil change, and I did even more. And then I was in the car and I did one heel flap in IKEA. So I had done the turn and I did one flap in IKEA, and then I started the second flap while we were in IKEA, and then finished it in the car, and then finished the socks while we were driving. So then I cast on a different pair. But yeah, so that's why these are finished. My intent was not to finish them in a week, but that's how it happened. I was here last week, finished a full pair of Rose City rollers. I worked them toe up. The pattern is by Mara Catherine Brenner. These are mini skeins, and Haley says that she thinks that they were mini skeins that Lisa, Sparkle Punk Lisa, had made for the ZK. So exciting about these socks is that Haley saw them on my Instagram feed before she watched my podcast, and she saw them and she was like, oh my gosh, I hope those are for me. And then she found out they were, so that's super exciting. She's going to love them. The yarn, Haley has a really good memory for yarns. I have a pretty decent memory for yarns that I've personally used in projects, but not for yarns that other people have used. So she says that she's pretty sure that this is a Dancing Dog Dye Works yarn, which I believe. I'm pretty sure that I recall this colorway because I actually wanted to purchase it and then didn't because story of my life. And she thinks that this other multi is a fiber addiction. I think that's what she said. So I'm super pleased with how they turned out. The color blocks do not match up, which I'm totally fine with and kind of enjoy. And they were really fast, obviously. I am going to make the other socks for Haley as Rose City rollers, and I actually picked out the yarn for them today, so why don't I show you, since why not? I am going to make 4 single socks that are going to be coordinating-ish, but not the same thing. So these were all yarns that Steve Dramatic Knits and Leading Men Fiber Arts, it doesn't work if you try to say both things at once, gave me at the ZK because he didn't want to make his scrap blanket anymore, and then he realized that he actually did like making scrap things, but they're mine now and I'm keeping them and using them for other things. So these are from him. I don't know what the yarns are. Maybe I could have gone and stalked his Ravelry page. I don't know. But each of these is going to be an individual sock. And then they're going to have this bluey gray color for the toes and this purple color for the heels. So they're going to be 4 socks that are coordinating but not matching, and I think these colors are awesome. And then I am going to make a pair of socks using scraps that Jen from the, what is it, Knit Chat with Jen, I don't know why I can't remember that, podcast sent me last week. So I'm going to be using these 4 in a single pair of socks, although I don't know how I'm going to be combining them or whatever, but I saw these 4 together and I was like, those need to be a pair of socks for Haley. And Haley and I actually just got off Skype with each other, so she agreed that these are all going to be awesome and she's looking forward to it. So works in progress. Well, I finished my design sock. So this is the bottom of the foot. The yarn is Science Monkey Mercantile Faraday sock in the Northern Bogs colorway, which you can't purchase anymore. He doesn't dye anymore, which is super sad. But I love this color, and I really like the design of the sock. I just barely cast on the second one. I knitted on a 9-inch circular, and so that's out to test knitters now. I have 3 test knitters for that sock, and I am going to hopefully today, I think today, cast on the design mittens that go together as part of the same concept, but the patterns are dissimilar. And the yarn that I'm using is Diabolical, but I don't remember the colorway or anything. So that's not super helpful, but it will be in the show notes, I promise. So yeah. Are you noticing that everything that I've shown you so far today has green in it? Literally everything that I have today, except for one hexapuff, has green in it. It's that kind of day. Could be something to do with my fancy new green hair. So I've got green in my bangs, and down at the bottom, it blends into my sweater. It's green. And I love it. Mary Lee did it, and she's brilliant. So let's see. I also worked on, I was so excited about this one. I worked on the Bad Nut, and I started binding off. I'm making the small size, and it says you need 15 to 20 grams to finish off. I'm pretty sure I'll be fine, but you know, it is kind of a small ball, and I don't have a scale readily available to check the weight on it. So that means I'm also not in the middle of a short row, so I can show you what the shawl looks like. Kind of. I mean, it's still scrunched on a needle. This is, where did it go? Oh, there. This is where I was last time you saw it. I actually picked this up last night, and I was like, now this needs to be a thing, because I didn't work yesterday. I was like, I need this to not be staring at me, making me feel guilty. It's time to work on some whips that I didn't cast on in the past week, because that happened again. So I'm on the bind off of the Bad Nut shawl, so I can't see that this would not be a finished object next week. The pattern is by Josh Ricks. It's a very straightforward pattern, stockinette sections and garter stitch sections, short rows, some eyelets, and applied edging as the bind off. The yarn is Solar Flare Fibers in the Jet Lagged Zombie colorway. I'm using the BFL base, which I think might be called the Apollo base, but that could be incorrect, so it's probably in the show notes. So yeah, it's almost finished. I am super excited to have it almost finished, because it's been sitting around on the needles for a really long time, and I mentioned I was starting to feel a little anxious about having projects sitting on the needles. Not so much the ones that have been works in progress for a while, but the newer-ish cast-ons, the ones that I've cast on since I moved up to Michigan that I haven't been working on. Feeling a little anxious about them. So this is going. I also can barely count this. Picked it up last night and worked 2 rounds on the Rhombus socks by Cookie A. But I did do the 2 rounds, so I mean, I kind of worked on it this week. But I'll show you the pattern again. So it's in the Knit Sock Love pattern ebook, or I think you can get it in hard copy too. I'm not 100% sure, but I have it as an ebook, and Holly sent it to me forever ago, and I love the patterns in it. So this is out of the tessellation section, and it makes these cool rhombus shapes in between the twisted stitch sections. I don't know, what do you want to call those? Cable-y-ish things. There is some cabling, there are twisted stitches. There is a lot of purling in this pattern, which isn't a terrible thing, but I only did 2 rounds. The yarn is unknown. It is something that Josh sent to me forever ago. But this is going to be my actual focus project starting today. So, you know, every time I put down another project, I'm going to try to do 2 rounds on it so that these socks can actually make progress and enjoy their life as not just theoretical socks. In addition to those 2 projects, I cast on 2 new projects. It's a thing. I mean, I could have cast on 3. I completely thought I was going to cast on another project this week and then didn't. So the first is the Bellatrix socks, which is a pattern by Monkey Toes. This is a ball of Souls and More that I lost the tag on, so I don't know the colorway. It's might be in the show notes. It might be on Ravelry. I don't know. I haven't looked. So that's why I don't know if it'll be in the show notes or not. But the pattern is, this is self-striping yarn, and this pattern plays with the self-striping yarn because there are dropped stitches. This is, I'm pretty sure, the first time that I've worked a pattern that has drop stitches. I don't recall working a pattern with drop stitches before. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the first one. So it makes kind of these ripples, and it makes kind of like lightning bolt things in the sock. It's a really simple pattern. I am in the middle of the second pattern repeat, and I don't have to look at the pattern anymore. I have started, these are for my friend Becca, and so they're going to be shorty socks because she likes shorty socks. So I have started the heel. I'm 1.5 passes on the heel, so 3 rows in. I'm doing not the pattern that's recommended in the sock. I am doing kind of a slip stitch heel. I'm knitting across and then slip 1, purl 1 back, but I am doing a 3-stitch gusset selvage edge because I just like the way that looks. So yeah, the pattern is pretty straightforward. It's very well written. I don't have a problem with the heel in the pattern. It's a heel flap, but it's just a plain one without the slip stitches for reinforcement, and I just like that in a heel. So that's why I'm doing that. The sock is written to be a longer sock, but of course I change that as I feel necessary, depending on who I'm making it for. And it's going along pretty smoothly. So I probably won't look at the pattern again. Just use it as I go because, again, it's a really memorizable, very cool looking, not difficult pattern. And the last thing that I cast on yesterday, and I worked 3 rounds, and then I woke up and worked on it this morning. I am making another pair of side cable mitts by Mirkwood Elf. Again, using Lion Brand Hometown USA, but this is in the Spartans colorway. One of my children's teachers is a Spartan. She graduated from Michigan State, which I also graduated from. I don't know if I've said that before on the podcast. If I have, it's been a while since I mentioned that. So she graduated from there, and I really want to make something for my children's teachers this year because they're totally going above and beyond, and they're fabulous. And so I'm going to make them fingerless mitts because I don't know why. Like, what I feel like fingerless mitts are not something that you can super easily go to the store and purchase. I know you can get like convertible mittens that have, you know, openings and stuff, but I love fingerless mitts. They're my favorite. So I'm going to make them fingerless mitts, and I'm making them out of Hometown USA because it's 100% acrylic, so they can throw it in the washer and the dryer, and it's not going to kill them. I mean, it's going to make them less nice, so I'm going to put, you know, recommend air dry, but they're easy care. They're teachers of small children, so if they have them on their hands, they will, you know, if they get dirty, it won't be a big deal to wash them. And outdoor recess is a thing until it is 30 degrees outside, because this is Michigan, and 30 degrees is when we start being like, well, maybe it's a little bit cold outside to be spending, you know, 20 minutes, half an hour out there. I don't know how long recess is, but they go outside until it's 30 degrees. So fingerless mitts are nice because you can put them over gloves or over mittens or under mittens, whatever. These ones are chunky yarn, so probably an over thing. And I've just cast on for the thumb. Wow, that seems really huge. Maybe I should go take that out. No, it'll be fine. I'll knit up on the thumb, so this is smaller, whatever. It'll be fine. So I'm using the side cable mitt pattern, and I'm not modifying it this time. This time I am doing the cable down the side. I feel like that's less visible on my screen than in person. This yarn is really busy, so I wanted to keep it a simple pattern, but I didn't want to make it just like a ribbing pattern because that's boring. You can kind of see the cable on there. So I went with the side cable mitts again because they worked really well the first time I made them. I'm following it, again, not to pattern because I'm working it from the fingertips down just because. I could have worked it from here up. I just chose not to because why would I? And also, I find decreases more aesthetically pleasing than increases. So for the gusset, I'll be decreasing these gusset stitches out. And I just think it looks nicer than increasing. Maybe I just don't increase prettily enough. I'm sure that some people love the way that increases look. I prefer the look of decreases. So working in that direction it just looks prettier to me. The finished piece looks prettier to me. And these are size 11 circular needles. And this is the first pair of 3 pairs of mitts that I'm planning to make. This is not to say that more mitts won't be made. And they're all going to be Lion brand Hometown USA. And I think I might make another Barley hat using Lion brand Hometown USA because Mary Lee was saying that she can't find her hat, so she wants a beanie. So I think I might just make it for her because I love her. And that's what I do when I love people. I just make them things when they're like, make offhand comments like, oh man, I can't find my hat. I want a hat. Oh, okay. Because I wear my Barley hat pretty much every day at work, and it is fabulous. And it's Hometown USA too. So I know it's warm enough for at least right now. Those are all the works in progress that I've really worked on, I think. That's all that I have written down. So modular projects. I have 2, what are these called? Hexapuffs. I have 2 hexapuffs. This is the one that I couldn't find last week. I shed hair everywhere all the time. So I'm sure you've seen it before. This is the one that I couldn't find last week, and this is a celebratory one. Because I'm still trying to make a celebratory one every time I finish a project, or at least I'm writing down how many celebratory ones I should be making. So I'm working on that. And yeah, it's only 2, but at least it's something. I would feel much worse if this was a week where I didn't make any. I also worked on Barn Raising Square number 96, which I'm counting as finished. So I did those socks, but in a Barn Raising Square because I love the colors so much together. I don't know where my black yarn is though, so I'm kind of at a stopping point. It's got to be around here somewhere because I know I wasn't out. It's just not where I thought I put it, which is in a bag full of scrap yarns for hexapuffs. So I'm going to have a look around today and see if I can find it. And if I can't find it, I'm pretty sure I have a 60% off coupon at Joann's that I can go and pick up a skein of yarn. So this is, what did I say, number 96. Look at how happy and bright it is. And then I did 3 mitered squares because, of course, why not? This is yarn from Christina. And then this is 2 of the yarns from the sock. I striped them together. It's the pink and then the Dancing Dog Dye Works yarn. And then over here is the Fiber Addiction yarn, maybe, with the blue. Because I didn't have enough of either of the variegated yarns to do a full square by themselves, so I striped them with the solids. So I'm up to 65 squares on the center panel of my blanket. It is going to be 100 squares. So I'm getting there. I almost have the first half finished. I just need to do this last square and then it'll be officially, I mean, even though 65 squares is 65%, it will be officially half done because the top or bottom, I don't know what the orientation of this is going to be in the blanket. I'll decide that later when I have the other things, but this quadrant is complete and this is the last square in the second quadrant. So then I'll be starting, or I'll not be starting, I'll be working on the third and fourth quadrants and placing colors as I see fit. I don't have anything, I do have new things this week because I bought the yarn for the mitts for the kids' teachers, but they're not exciting. It's Hometown USA. One is a black and one's a cream. So I didn't leave them over here. They're over there in my pile of stuff to be started. So I don't have any other new exciting things to show you. And all I have left is what I'm reading. I didn't read any of Daughter of the Forest. I read a very little bit of Deerskin, but I feel like I'm just going to set it aside. I know it's a good book. I've read it before, but it's just not the right time for me to read it right now. Do you ever get that? Where you start reading a book and you can't get into it? I have that not very frequently, although this is going to be the second book in a year that I've done that too, because I did it, well, that I plan to go back to reading. I have put down a few other books recently, but I don't plan on reading them in the near future. I will get back to Deerskin, just not right now. It's not the right time. So last night I started reading a different book, which is Prudence by Gail Carriger. And it is, apparently the series is going to be called The Custard Protocol. It is a steampunk novel, and it is supernatural also. So Prudence is the daughter of the main character of the Parasol Protractorate series. What is her name? I want to say Elizabeth Tarbati, but I might be making that up. We haven't actually talked to her parents yet. The first chapter is her at a ball with her uncles who are werewolf pack members. But she's the daughter of the two main, like the main werewolf in the Parasol Protractorate and the main character. Oh yes, and she's also the adopted-ish foster maybe daughter of Lord Akeldama, who's a vampire in the Parasol Protectorate. And then her best friend Prim is the daughter of the main character of the Parasol Protectorate's best friend, the one with the crazy hats. And who does she end up going with? I don't remember. It's their daughter. It's been a little while since I've read the Parasol Protractorate, but I'm sure it'll come back to me. I'm pretty sure that I was reading those books back when I was still nursing Mara. So that was kind of a long time ago. So I don't exactly remember all of the everybody. But I was immediately pulled into the story. I only read the first chapter because, again, it was bedtime. But it's a hardcover book, which means it's easy for knitting and reading at the same time. So I'll probably read this fairly rapidly. I really, really like Gail Carriger's writing style. I haven't read a steampunk book in a while, so that'll be, like, I won't be sick of the style. So that's pretty exciting, and she is really good at describing different inventions and things like that and technology of the time. She also has a fun spin on the supernatural world. So I'm greatly enjoying this so far, and it's just the wrong time for Deerskin. I'll get back to it, just not right now. I'm a little disappointed in myself because I put Daughter of the Forest on hold at the library, and then I just did not make it to the library last week, so they reshelved it yesterday. So that's a little frustrating for me, but I did it to myself. I will probably put it on hold again so that I will actually read it, because I like the book, but I feel like if it was a hardcover and I could knit and read at the same time, then I would read it. Oh, I've also been listening to Changes in my car. I don't even know how far I am. I think there are 46 chapters, and I'm pretty sure that I heard the number 24, but I could be making that up. I would guess I'm about halfway through the series, maybe a little more than halfway through. Not series, the book. It's Changes by Jim Butcher. It's the 10th, somewhere between the 10th and 12th book in the series. I can't remember how far I am. That would be too organized. And then I've also been listening to my Playaway, which is a lifesaver. I worked over the weekend, and on Saturday we had enough dogs that there were 2 people in group the entire day. But then on Sunday, we only had 13 medium dogs, and they were all super chill. So we only had 1 person in medium, and that was me. And I had this on the entire time, because otherwise, like, this is a lifesaver. Otherwise, I would have gone crazy, because I can't sit and just watch the dogs. Like, I would go crazy. I need to have things going on all the time. I'm not good at sitting still. I'm not good at having my brain just wander. So this Playaway was brilliant. I have no idea percentage-wise how far I am through the story at all. Let's see. I think there were 72 tracks on here, and I am on track 28. So I have quite a way to go, which is fine because I have work where I can listen to it, and if I'm walking around. I took it with me to do grocery shopping yesterday, and then I forgot that I had it with me, so I didn't listen to it then, but I'm enjoying it. It's the playaway is Gems of Autumn by Diana Gabaldon, and it's the 4th book, I want to say, in the Outlander series, so it's pretty good. And I super, super love having the playaway because I can leave it in my purse, and then when I am getting like fidgety, I can listen to it anywhere. That's all I have for you this week, though. So I lied. That's not all I have for you this week. This is my nephew, Kenny, and he's home from school today on a mental health day, which is totally cool. So do you knit?
No.
Have you tried knitting?
No.
Do you like knit things?
Yes.
What's your favorite thing that I've ever made you?
That little dog that looked like a rat.
Do you like your Christmas socks?
Yes, they're soft.
He has good taste. So that is all I have for you this week. I hope you made something fantastic with your sticks and string, and I will see you next week. Bye!